Imagine if Jesus stood before you with a golden box. It contains an invitation to know and experience Jesus like never before, to discover Christ in his breathtaking beauty, his staggering strength, his wondrous power, and the depths of his relentless love for you. Would you take the gift? Or would you say, I'm good. I don't really like the packaging. Not for me. To be vulnerable and honest, for most of my life, that's how I've thought of Revelation. Maybe you have too. For me, my aversion comes from childhood. I was raised by free-spirited parents, and we moved around a lot growing up. One of our consistencies was we always had a dog. Now, this is our newest super pup, Zoom, who we love so much. But the other consistency was my parents loved Jesus. They became believers during the Jesus movement of the 1970s. And around that time, an author by the name of Hal Lindsey wrote a book called The Late Great Planet Earth that talked about the end of the world. And about that time, the Cold War between the former Soviet Union and the US was heating up. Well, my parents, who owned a mom and pop surf shop in Cocoa Beach, Florida, decided to buy a remote piece of property outside of Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And they built it completely off the grid. We had our own vegetable gardens, fruit trees, solar panels, water sources, beehives, even a bomb shelter, just in case the end of the world came. Well, my parents were doomsday preppers long before prepping or preparing for the worst became the topic of popular television shows and podcasts. Needless to say, the end of the world did not come. After about 5 years, my parents sold the property, and that was the end of that phase of our lives. But it's always made me a little hesitant when it comes to Revelation. With its bloody dragons, flying creatures, mark of the beast, I thought, I'm good, not loving the packaging. That's not for me. Yet I've had to reconsider. Do you really think that God gives us the scripture, the Bible, this love letter in which he reveals the lengths he's gone to rescue us, and then in the closing chapters delivers a big cosmic boo where he scares the heebie-jeebies out of us? That's not consistent with the nature of God, the character of God, or the redemptive work of God throughout history. What if, instead, through the book of Revelation, God is saving the best for last? What if, through Revelation, you're invited to discover the extravagant hope of Jesus no matter what circumstance you find yourself in? What if you don't have to be scared of imagery like the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and instead discover how they're meant to awaken and empower you as a follower of Christ? I believe that in order to lay hold of the golden gift that Jesus has for us, we've got to push aside our fears, our preconceived ideas, any spiritual baggage that we might have picked up along the way because of our upbringing or our past, and decide to accept the golden gift of Christ and say, Jesus, I want all of you. Would you say that out loud with me right now? Jesus, I want all of you.